You're here because you heard that blockchain is a buzzword and you want to know what it is. Let me tell you something. It's not just a buzzword, it's the next biggest thing after the internet technology. This video will explain blockchain technology in a high level for you. In our digital world, it would be possible to imagine the following scenario. So let's say the buyer has an amount of $100 in their fund. We know if the buyer wants to buy a $100 item from seller A, then there is no problem. The digital transaction will go through and the fund will be processed then. But at the same time, the same buyer with the same $100 amount of fund can prove to seller B they have enough fund to buy the $80 item that the seller B is offering. So both sellers now think they have received the money without having any means of authenticating the digital coin, and would thus deliver the respective goods to the buyer. This is an actual problem in the digital world, and it's called the double spending problem, where the sender spends the same money at more than one place for obtaining services or goods from multiple vendors. So we can try solving the problem by adding a third-party company like a bank or credit card. We know the bank is a centralizing power, which can control and verify the funds between buyer and seller. And it also can make sure there is a sufficient balance for each purchase. But that is not always feasible for many reasons. And that's because there's a transaction fee. It takes longer time, can be costly, and not everyone may have the luxury to afford it. On top of that, this is also a controlled and centralized process. So how about we just eliminate the middleman and connect the network to make it look like a peer-to-peer network? And that's why the technology of blockchain can come and solve all the above issues. So at last, what is blockchain and how does it work? A blockchain is a technology that is not just solving the problem we mentioned, but it's creating a new level of trust and opportunity in the digital world. Blockchain is defined as a decentralized, distributed, and public digital ledger that is used to record transactions across many computers so that any involved record cannot be tampered without the alteration of all subsequent blocks. So let's dissect the definitions by highlighting the important keywords from the definition. Blockchain. As the name indicates, it's a chain of blocks or blocks that are connected to each other in a chain. The block has a format where each block contains data, hash of block, and previous hash of the block. If you look at this chain of blocks, each block is connected to another by using the hash and previous hash. Decentralized is the opposite of centralized. Think of centralization as a bank which controls and keeps all your information and records. So decentralized means all the records and transactions are stored in different places. So if you have a network, then all the nodes in network store such records. And that's what the blockchain network looks like. It can be tampered and cannot be hacked. And any changes made are easily identified since there are many other copies. Distributed, which means the records and transactions are shared across the network nodes or multiple sites, which makes the data harder to be changed by anyone, or simply called immutable. What about ledger? Well, ledger is just a fancy word for a database, which consists of records and transactions. So now we understand what a decentralized distributed ledger means, which in simple words, we're saying blockchain is a shared records that has no central authority. Sounds good so far? Well, let's add some important elements to explain blockchain better. Mining. Mining is the process of adding transactions to the blockchain. So miners who mine, their role is to validate new transactions and record them on the blockchain. But before they do that, they need to prove they are capable of solving a mathematical problem, and this is also called proof of work. Sometimes all the nodes in the blockchain network are synchronized with each other and have to agree on which transactions are legitimate and which are added to the blockchain. This is also called consensus mechanism. And then you have something called cryptocurrency, which is a type of digital or virtual money. It serves as a regular money, such as dollar, pound, and others. The best example of cryptocurrency that uses blockchain platform is something you probably have heard before, which is Bitcoin. Let's take a look of how Bitcoin network works. So we know Bitcoin's network is run by miners, which are users who run special software on powerful computers solving an increasingly complex math problem. Every time the math problem is solved, a new block in the Bitcoin's blockchain is created and then verified by all other miners. Each block contains the latest batch of transactions on the network. Once a new block is found, the math problem is replaced by a harder math problem, and then the cycle starts again. The system ensures that the miners keep running the Bitcoin network by giving them a good incentive to do so. The miner who finds a new block is rewarded with Bitcoin. Something else to know is that blockchain can be either public or private. In simple terms, public blockchain is open to anyone to join, read, and write, whereas private blockchain is only available for specific group or nodes. So now we know blockchain in a high level. Let's add some facts to your knowledge. Here's some history. The first research on blockchain and crypto was done in 1991, but it wasn't until 2008 when we first ever saw a full concept using blockchain software, and that is called Bitcoin. The work on blockchain software continues until today. Many platforms and applications are developed and worked on. Blockchain is going to be used for more than just currency and transactions. To give you an idea of how seriously it's been studied and adopted, here are a few use cases. Music royalties tracking. If you think you can use any music or song without license on your videos, then try again when there's blockchain, where it's able to trace and flag illegal activity. Another use of blockchain would be in the medical field. Blockchain can help store the medical records so that doctors that can retrieve for further use while keeping personal information private. Patients also can connect to other hospitals and collect their medical data automatically. So what are some takeaways that I want you to take from this? Well, if you had to describe blockchain in one word, then one simply can just say the word trust. So that's it. Hopefully this helps. Let me know if you want me to do more videos on blockchain. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.